Colours and Forgiveness, Episode 4. Lucy was cold. She did up the zip of her coat and popped the buttons closed. Rearranging her scarf more tightly around her ears and neck, she looked up. "I've only been walking about half an hour, haven't I?" she thought. But Tom had her phone and she was guessing. It was marvellous out here, the wind and the sound of the waves and the sheep bleating as they foraged. Her spirits soaring, she'd been playing with the colours, opening and closing her fingers so they flowed like sand through the gaps, trying to catch them if they went ahead, running like a child, and letting go of the weight for a while. But it was going to rain, very hard, and she now appeared to be lost. It wasn't a big island, and she knew if she walked towards the sound of the sea, she would find a coastal path. Well, she hoped so, and she would have to hope it wasn't too far back to the village. As she pushed her way through a prickly hedge, hair snagging, and a sound of a small tear as her coat lost its battle with a bramble, she saw a tiny croft on the horizon. A first heavy drop of rain landed on her nose. It was icy. She had some sweets in her pocket and a little water in her flask. Maybe she should shelter a while. See if this storm was going to pass before she found that coast path. Feeling like an intrepid explorer and smiling to herself as she was on a tiny island which could be walked in less than a day, she set off. As she came closer, she realised there was smoke trailing out of the chimney. She stopped. The rain was coming fast now. "I'll just have to impose," she thought, and hope for the best. She walked fast, head down, as the first clap of thunder came down. The door of the croft opened, and a small figure stood, watching her, outlined in the glow of orange behind. Was it a child, she wondered, but as she came within sight, she saw it was a very old man, hunched over and smiling the most beautiful smile she'd ever seen. Come along, he was saying, gesturing her to come closer. She called out, "I'm so sorry. I wandered too far and I got a bit lost. I was heading back to the village, but the storm broke." The stooped figure said no more until they were together on his front step. "I was expecting you," he said. "Pardon?" Lucy said, wondering if he was a little crazy. Perfect. A crazy old man, a thunderstorm, and a partner simmering with rage by now, she thought. "I've been waiting for you," he repeated. "I'm sorry, I think you must mean someone else," Lucy said. His fire looked warm, and she could smell cake. She was starving. Hansel and Gretel, here we go, she thought. But he did not look strong, and she was becoming aware how tired she was. Perhaps she could just rest a while. And then the old man did something that instantly made up her mind. He brushed his arm through her colours. "Get away with you, you old devils," he said. "You can see them?" asked Lucy, astonished. "Of course I can. And it seems to me they only caught you just in time," he said, smiling. His smile spoke of compassion, of understanding, of such kindness. Lucy just stood and stared at him. "Am I going mad?" she blurted out to this kind, ancient stranger. "No, my wee one, but you would have if they hadn't caught you. You were suffocating with its weight, weren't you?" he said. And Lucy realised his eyes were bright blue and as clear as a child's. "Who are you?" she asked. "Well, I'm getting as wet as you right now, and I can hear both our stomachs rumbling. I think it's time we talked, Lucy. Come on in. You're quite safe, but we can leave the door open if you like." At her name, Lucy knew that whatever this strange and mystical moment was, she had to see it through. She stepped inside. To be continued.